Laura's laughter echoed from the kitchen as she spoke on the phone, her voice light, playful, carefree. I stood in the hallway, gripping my phone, rereading the messages that had destroyed me. Each word between her and Adrian cut deeper than the last. She had called him baby, whispered, "I can't wait to feel you again. Promised next time, no rush. We'll take our time." My throat felt tight. This wasn't just a one-time lapse in judgment. No, it was deliberate, calculated, and ongoing. She had told me she was visiting her sister last Friday, yet here was the proof. Her words, her lies, her betrayal in black and white. She stepped into the hallway, still smiling, holding a wine glass. "Hey, you okay?" I forced my expression into something neutral. "Yeah, just tired." Her eyes softened as she approached, fingers grazing my arm. "Long day?" I wanted to pull away. I wanted to scream. Instead, I nodded. "Something like that." She leaned in, pressing a kiss to my cheek. I felt the warmth of her lips, but all I could think about was how easily they had touched another man. Later that night, I lay beside her, watching the ceiling, heart pounding. My mind spun, thoughts colliding. I could confront her, demand answers. But what would that accomplish? She would lie, deny, twist the truth. No, I needed something better. So I waited. The next few days, I pretended nothing had changed. I kissed her each morning, played the role of the devoted husband while inside, fury burned. I studied her, searching for every tell, the way she checked her phone with a secretive smile, how she lingered in the car after arriving home, the subtle shift in her scent after running errands. She thought she was clever. She thought she had control. But she had no idea she had already lost. I started digging deeper. Accessing her phone had been easy. She trusted me enough to leave it unguarded. The conversations with Adrian stretched back months. She had told him she loved him, that our marriage felt empty, that she wanted more. I clenched my jaw, scrolling through photos, messages, voice notes. Every piece of evidence fueled my resolve. By the end of the week, I had a plan. That Friday, Laura kissed me goodbye, telling me she would be at her sister's for the night. My stomach clenched as I played along. "Tell her I said hi," I replied, smiling. She grinned, oblivious. "I will." An hour later, I was parked outside a sleek hotel, watching as she strolled inside. She wore a short red dress, the same one I had once told her was my favorite. She wasn't wearing it for me tonight. Adrian arrived minutes later, greeting her with a kiss before they disappeared inside. My hands tightened on the steering wheel. I had seen enough. She had no idea this would be the last night she ever lied to me. I watched them disappear into the hotel, my grip on the steering wheel tightening. My heart should have been pounding, but all I felt was a cold, eerie calm. This was it, the moment I confirmed everything. There was no longer room for doubt, no space for hope. Laura had chosen her path, and I was merely a spectator in the final act of her deception. I took a deep breath, my mind working through the next steps. Every move I had planned over the past week would fall into place tonight. The cameras were already set in their room, courtesy of a discreet contact I had hired. I wouldn't just confront them, I would expose them in the most humiliating way possible. Pulling out my phone, I accessed the live feed. There they were, wrapped in each other's arms, laughing, drinking, letting their inhibitions dissolve in the dim glow of the hotel suite. Laura's hands roamed his chest as she whispered something in his ear. He smirked, pulling her onto his lap, his fingers tracing the hem of that red dress, the dress I had once adored on her. Disgust burned through me, but I didn't look away. This was necessary. I needed every detail, every bit of evidence to make sure she had no way to twist the truth. Minutes passed as they lost themselves in their illicit passion. I waited, silent, patient. Then, at the perfect moment, I made my move. I stepped out of my car, my suit crisp, my resolve unwavering. The elevator ride to their floor was agonizingly slow, but I savored the anticipation. As I reached their door, I inhaled deeply, my fingers brushing against the keycard in my pocket. Then I knocked. Silence. A rustle of movement. Then Laura's hesitant voice. "Who is it?" I remained quiet. Another knock, harder this time. More frantic movement inside, whispered curses. The sounds of hurried dressing. I pulled out my phone, scrolling to the hotel's front desk number. Pressing call, I deepened my voice. "This is Mr. Carter in room 312. I've locked myself out. Can someone send a replacement key?" The receptionist confirmed my request. Within minutes, a staff member arrived, handing me a duplicate card with a polite nod. I slid the key into the slot. The light flashed green. And then I walked in. Laura gasped, her body half covered in sheets, her face frozen in horror. Adrian scrambled, tripping over his own pants as he tried to dress. The room smelled of perfume, sweat, and betrayal. I let the silence stretch, my presence sinking into their bones like poison. Then I tossed a thick envelope onto the bed. "Thought you might want to see this." Laura's hands trembled as she reached for it, flipping it open to reveal printed screenshots, photographs, and timestamps. Every single message, every single meeting, every single lie. She sucked in a sharp breath, looking up at me with wide, tear-filled eyes. "I can explain," I scoffed, cutting her off. "Don't. Just don't." Adrian finally found his voice. "Look, man, I didn't know." I turned on him so fast he flinched. "Shut up. You knew exactly what you were doing." Laura sobbed, gripping my arm. "Please, baby, let's talk about this." I yanked away, my voice sharp as a blade. "Talk? You mean like how you talked to him while lying to me? How you planned your little getaways while telling me you loved me?" Tears streamed down her face. "It was a mistake." I laughed, the sound hollow. "A mistake? No, Laura. A mistake is forgetting a date. A mistake is missing a call. This—" I gestured around the room, to the evidence sprawled across the bed, to the half-empty champagne glasses. "This is betrayal." Her knees buckled and she collapsed onto the mattress, sobbing into her hands. Adrian, the coward, grabbed his shoes and bolted without another word. I turned for the door, pausing only to look over my shoulder one last time. "When I get home, I expect you to be gone." Her cry followed me as I walked out, but I didn't look back. She had made her choice. Now she would live with it. The night air felt different as I stepped out of the hotel, cool, sharp, cleansing. I inhaled deeply, letting the moment settle, letting the weight of what had just happened sink into my bones. Laura's sobs still echoed in my ears, but I pushed them aside. She had made her choice long before I walked through that door. All I had done was force her to face the consequences. Sliding into my car, I checked my phone. A notification blinked at me. My lawyer had already received the documents I'd sent earlier. Divorce papers. Everything was already in motion. I had wasted enough years on a woman who saw me as nothing more than a placeholder until something more exciting came along. As I drove home, my mind spun with the memories of us, of how we started, how we built a life together. I had loved her once, deeply, completely, but love meant nothing without trust, and she had shattered that without hesitation. When I arrived at the house, it was dark, silent. The place we had shared now felt empty, hollow, but I welcomed the solitude. It was better than the suffocating weight of deception. I poured myself a drink, sinking into the couch as I scrolled through the evidence again. Each message, each stolen moment, each declaration of love she had given to him instead of me. I felt nothing now. No anger, no sadness, just clarity. An hour passed before I heard the front door creak open. Laura stepped inside, her eyes red, her face pale. She had a suitcase clutched in one hand, her entire body trembling. "You're really doing this," she whispered. I didn't even blink. "Yes." Tears welled in her eyes again. "Please, let's talk. Let me explain." I stood, setting my glass down with deliberate calm. "Explain what, Laura? That you didn't mean to cheat? That you somehow tripped and fell into his bed? That it was all some misunderstanding?" She flinched, her lip quivering. "I made a mistake." I laughed coldly. "You made a choice." She rushed forward, grabbing my hand. "I love you. I swear I do." I pulled away, shaking my head. "No, you loved what I gave you. Stability, comfort, a life without worry. But you didn't love me, not the way a wife should love her husband." Her breath hitched, desperation flashing in her eyes. "It wasn't about you. It was—" "Don't." My voice was sharp, final. "Just stop." She collapsed onto the couch, burying her face in her hands. "What do I do now?" I exhaled slowly, staring down at her. This woman, this person I had once built my world around, was nothing but a stranger to me now. "You leave," I said, "and you live with the fact that you destroyed your own life." Her sobs filled the silence, but I didn't stay to hear them. I walked upstairs, shutting the door behind me. And for the first time in years, I felt free. Morning light seeped through the curtains, painting the bedroom in soft gold. I stretched, exhaling deeply, feeling lighter than I had in years. The silence in the house wasn't oppressive anymore. It was peaceful. Laura was gone. Last night, after hours of pleading and sobbing, she had finally packed up her things and left. I should have felt something: grief, regret, anger. But all I felt was relief. Pulling myself out of bed, I grabbed my phone. A message from my lawyer confirmed that the divorce process was underway. Laura had no way to contest it. I had built my case too well. She would get nothing more than what I allowed. I showered, letting the steaming water wash away the last remnants of the past. Today wasn't just another day. It was the first day of my new life. One without lies, without betrayal, without her. By noon, I was at my favorite cafe, sipping a coffee, watching the city move around me. I hadn't done this in years, sat alone without obligations, without worry. That's when I saw her. She sat at a table near the window, a book in her hands, completely lost in its pages. Dark curls framed her face, and when she glanced up, her hazel eyes met mine for the briefest moment before she looked away, a soft smile playing on her lips. Something inside me stirred. For the first time in what felt like forever, I didn't think about Laura. I didn't think about betrayal, revenge, or the past. I thought about possibilities, new beginnings. I stood grabbing my coffee, making my way toward her table. "Excuse me," I said, offering a small, genuine smile. "Is this seat taken?" She looked up, her eyes studying me before that smile grew. "Not at all." And just like that, my story didn't end with heartbreak. It began with hope.